Hey everybody, I'm at Bonta,
This is Melissa Bonta.
and we are doing Just Us podcast today.
Husband and wife.
It's our sequel podcast, it's just us. You okay with that, Melissa?
Sure.
It's just us anyways.
Mm-hmm.
All the other people who've been on here have been guests.
Pretty much. So.
So how are you doing today?
Horrible.
Yeah, it's a bad day.
It's a bad year.
Bad year, we've had a bad year. But technically our bad year didn't start until last year.
And what did it start with?
When you got laid off from JCPenney's.
Fuck JCPenney's.
They give me lots of money. But
Well,
it's still not enough, right?
they gave me a lot of money before they cut the cord and
Snip.
fucked me. So, it all started with me getting laid off, I guess, and then it was the beginning of the end.
What happened after that? You got laid off, and then something good did happen from that, right? That went bad.
What happened from that?
You wrote Patriot Zombie.
I can't even remember writing that thing.
It was like 3 days. You were writing Patriot Zombie, and I was playing Mad World on the Wii while you were writing it. I mean, you wrote during the day while I was at work, but I would come home and you'd still be writing, and I was playing Mad World.
I was really depressed at that time.
And you wrote Patriot Zombie.
Pretty much any time I haven't had a job, I've been depressed.
And you've been writing movies.
Tough. I know. It's because artistic expression comes out of emotional trauma, I
It's
think.
booty time.
Okay. So, yep, I wrote Patriot Zombie.
And that was a good thing, but it turned into a bad thing.
How long were we making Patriot Zombie before I got my new job?
I don't think we had started making it yet.
Huh.
You were laid off. We wrote Patriot Zombie. A week, maybe 2 weeks later, we got everyone together.
Patriot Zombie was one of those things that we just needed to do.
Needed to get did.
Yeah. And it was going really well.
Well, you know, we had our cat. A lot of things happened with Patriot Zombie, Melissa.
And that's why last year wasn't a bad year in any way, I think.
No, it was a bad year. Because for the first time, we didn't have a job together. You know,
Well, not for the first time I worked at United Blood Services.
That lasted like a couple months.
Well, you know.
Are you crying?
Nope.
You know, and it's like you were working overtime, and I was by myself for hours. I still am by myself for hours, but that's another story for another podcast 10 years from today.
It's just kind of...
November 14th, 2010.
It was one of those things that we had to get used to change because there's points in our lives where things change drastically, be it because of a death or because of the economy. And, you know, we just have to deal with change, and it's tough. We're still dealing with it, but by far last year was much better than this year.
It was better than this year, but it was still the beginning of, you know, our free ride per se. It wasn't really a free ride, but it was a decent ride. Things were going smooth. You know,
Yeah.
The year before that, we got married. We went to Disneyland. We were able to go to Santa Cruz.
And 2008 was such a good year.
You know, that winter, you know, Christmas was what it was. It wasn't bad or good. It was just, you know, Christmas. We went and we were hanging out with like AJ and Mac, and we were having fun when we did that. You know, we went bowling on New Year's Eve with them, and we went to that party on New Year's Eve, and you were like, oh, hey, this is like Lesson Zero, where they just go to, you know, at random parties with people they don't know.
It was the weirdest thing because we went out. This place way out in Sparks, fucking way out there, and we're driving, and it's dark, and we're driving and driving. It just kind of feels like AJ was like, oh, hey, let's go to this party, because I don't want to drive all the way out here, so I'm going to invite you to this party. And there's like people that I knew from school there, and then there was that girl that we knew from the bank, which is so
Who I don't think
random.
works there. I haven't seen her whenever we go to the bank. Not
And,
that we go
like,
in there.
There was just like a plethora of random people, and it seemed like everyone was just sitting around, fucking totally drunk.
Just drinking. I don't think anyone was drunk.
I think AJ got pretty drunk.
I think they were just kind of drinking.
It seemed so weird because they were just sitting around, like it was cool to do that, just sit around.
We played some pool.
Played pool, and then I remember
over
distinctly at one point I was just shooting pool just to see if I could get the balls in the holes, and AJ's sitting there on the chair, and he goes, "What are you doing?"
I don't remember that.
He was so drunk, and that's what I'm saying. And I was like, "Don't worry about it." So, yeah, there was that. But then, like we said, the big hit came when I got laid off, changed everything. Fucking money became something totally different, because for so long we had lived, we would get paid, and we had this bundles of cash to play around
It
with.
felt like it, but it doesn't really feel like we did, because we got nothing to show for it, really.
Well, that's because we went out to eat so much, and there was a point where you were buying, like, a lot of movies. Like, we would fucking go to Best Buy, and you would walk out of there with, like, a stack of movies. On more than one occasion. I remember, so don't look
Honestly, I feel like I buy more movies now with less money than I did back then.
No fucking way. It's the reason you feel like you buy more movies now is because I get paid every week. So it's more often, but when we used to get paid, we would just have fucking tons of extra money to just go and do whatever with. And, things just weren't, I don't know. And it just felt like we didn't have as many credit cards.
No. In fact, that was one of the big problems, is you got laid off, and you wrote a script, and... No, what happened was you got laid off, and we were like, oh, hey, let's write a movie, and if Best Buy will give us a credit card, we will go buy a camera, and we'll make that movie.
Right.
And guess what? Best Buy gave us like $2,200 on a credit card, and we went and we bought a camera and everything that goes with it that we needed. And
we
then
got fucked over that interest. But, alright, so this year's...
Last year, it's still. So
Okay.
we did the movie, which was fun. We had a lot of fun times making the movie. It felt like we weren't getting anything done, but we go back and think about it, and I guess it was kind of fun because this year we haven't done anything like that.
Right, and thinking back on it, like, even though AJ was a douchebag and Mac was a douchebag, and pretty much everyone that quit the movie was douchebags,
Well,
we're kind of indebted to them.
we became close friends with Dakota.
Right.
We became friends again with Patrick.
Like, it was like one time a bunch of people banding together for something that didn't mean anything, something that wasn't going to make any money, no promise of any payback, and just people giving up their Saturday nights to hang around and film tiny little clips of this low budget, horrible fucking zombie movie. Just,
It wasn't horrible. It was fun. It was good. It was just...
well, as far as like movie making goes, it was never gonna be anything.
Well, we can't just say, hey, our zombie movie compares with, somebody else's $1 million budget like Transformers 2. Okay?
But that's what I'm saying. It's not like, it doesn't even compare with low budget independent films, because it's just a bunch of friends with a camera. That's
well,
all
I
it
want
is.
to say that our movie is better than somebody else's bunch of friends with a camera movie, okay?
Okay. Well, I'm just saying it wasn't going to become anything, and for people to know that and to still get together and make it.
I think you're just skipping over everything and just kind of turning into something else. Think about all the
No.
things that happened. Don't think about the quality and everything. We met some new people. We rekindled old friendships, like with Patrick and with Mikey and my brother, who I hadn't talked or seen in 3 years. Family, blood relative, who was incommunicado. You know, he came back, and someone I'm talking to now today. You know, all that stuff. And, just, we met, like, Jeff, who was a crazy character, crazy guy, funny guy, all of that.
Yeah. Patriot Zombie was a lot. But
Just a lot of different stuff. A lot of different things. Now we're not talking.
well, I don't know. It was just. I think it was a good time, and even though we made friends, we rekindled friends, we lost friends, and
Made enemies.
at some points we made enemies. Even so, I don't think I would give it back for anything because it was fun. It felt like we belonged to something. That even though we weren't doing anything professional or anything, it was, a bunch of people believing in something.
Felt real.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt real. And it was an excuse to hang out, I guess. And it was a lot of different people just mishmashed. It was like AJ, this cool cucumber, who was mismatched with a bunch of nerds and different types of nerds, I guess. Just weird how everybody came together like that. But what do you think was the first breaking point of Patriot Zombie?
Beach Day.
Oh, you think so?
I think Beach Day was the first breaking point because we had been making the movie like the end of spring, beginning of summer, and summer just felt like it kept going on and on. Felt like we'd have all summer to film, and every Saturday we'd film. Fridays, I don't know, if we filmed Fridays instead of Saturdays sometimes, but it just kept going and going and going, and then suddenly it's the end of August, and we gotta go film on the beach, and we need everyone to be there that's supposed to be there, and two of the most important people that needed to be there weren't there, and pretty much after that day, when we tried to get them back, they quit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, okay, so you quit, too late to replace you, the weather's getting colder, it's going to start snowing soon, and we're not going to be able to finish it.
I think it was just that once one person quit, it's kind of like everybody else felt like, what's the point? It felt like we were able to quit now. Like, since one person quit, it's like, well, it's over. So, I mean, and, there was rough points along the way that it was kind of like, well, how is this going to factor in? And how are we going to fix this? But,
we fixed it.
We trucked on for a really long time, all things considered. And even after people were quitting, we still tried to film.
No, it's so funny. Maybe we should have tried to go to Beach Day, like, the first thing, because everything we filmed during summer was all interiors.
Well, yeah, but wasn't it, like, so difficult to get everybody together? And that's why, like, we were filming things kind of choppy, and we were filming this scene at this point.
We could never get people during the day.
Yeah.
People were always working, like, on Saturday day. But thinking about it, the only people we needed didn't work during the day. Patrick didn't have a job. He had a job for like 3 days. Got fired. Dakota quit his job at Sports Authority. So he didn't have Saturdays. In fact, I think that's how we got him. Was right after he started working with you.
Yeah.
To come to that beach day. And, AJ didn't work on Saturdays.
Yeah, but it was also like, well, do I want to spend my whole Saturday down at the beach filming something when I could be spending it doing other things? I mean, you think about all the people we put in that movie. They had other lives, Like, there are certain people like me, you, and Patrick that's like, well, this was our life. These are our friends. This is what we would be doing anyways. But people like AJ had, had a life outside of us, and Dakota did. And
you know what? Honestly,
everybody
the only thing AJ did during the day with stuff that we were with him for anyways. All he did was play HeroClix on Saturdays, and that was one of the other big problems. No one, like fucking Mac and AJ, were not willing to give up. It's like if we were to go say, hey, let's go play Clue and Monopoly every Saturday. You know, it's not like, you know, for whoever's listening, if anyone listens, you can't just say they were playing HeroClix, but it's as if we were to do that. Like, oh, we play Clue and Monopoly every Saturday.
Right. Well, I think it's more like pride, and in that point is like they don't want people infringing upon, you know, what they've already got going. Like, it would be easy for them on their own to be like, okay, well, I'm not going to play this week. But they just don't want people telling them, okay, so you're not going to play this week, instead we're going to go do this. It's, I think, a prideful thing. And it was just like, and it all just fell apart at the same time, and it, you know, it could have had something to do with the end of summer. That, you know, summer ends, so the fun ends.
Maybe.
And you know, to AJ and Mac, it wasn't really anything important. It was something to do, something to bide time.
Yeah, and then, you know, everything that went wrong with AJ, which
Yep.
we can't really talk about here.
Yeah, that was... He kind of changed. You know, not to blame him.
It was
I mean, of
Mac.
course he changed.
It was Mac's fault.
But,
Mac
yeah.
changes people.
Mac changes for people. But, God, and then fucking Patrick started drinking again. A lot. Sucked. And, I don't know. Just kind of brings out the worst in people, I guess, when you spend every single Saturday with them. Bring booze into the picture. But it was so much fun. So fun watching the gag reel and all the footage and everything. Just remembering how good it felt. But, so after
Patriot Zombie was over and done with, we became friends with Casey and Allie again.
Well, isn't that funny how it fucking... It's like lunar cycles, the way it works. You know, we get interested in something, in like a project. And, you know, certain friends drop off and certain friends come back in the picture. And then when that project's done, it's the same fucking thing. More friends come back.
See ya, yeah.
And some friends just drop off.
Yeah, we're not seeing Dakota all that much anymore. He was supposed to come and podcast with us today, but he's sick.
It sucks.
But, you know, we were only really seeing him, like, every other Saturday during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Summer's over with now. It's harder to get people to come over.
Well...
And, you know, we live all the way out here, and it's kind of like, I don't know, taking advantage of the fact that people will come out here.
Yeah, and... I don't know. Sometimes it's weird, I think, how, like, it's a... And that's, I think, why our friendship works so well with Casey and Allie, is we're a couple, they're a couple... You know, we have similar interests, and it's like being friends with singular people is sometimes
doesn't work, yeah.
Sometimes doesn't work. Patrick's a different story, because...
You know, if Dakota was like the next door neighbor or something, it's like, oh yeah, I know our neighbor Dakota.
Yeah, so... you know, but the thing with Patriot Zombie is we actually fucking saved it somehow. We managed to make some kind of movie out of it, and I'm fucking proud of that shit because it's a full length. It's our first and only full length.
Yeah?
And you know, it's not like full length, like boring. It's, you know,
It's full, yeah, you could watch it.
through it.
It's watchable. It's totally watchable. It's not like, oh, hey, these guys are going on about something I don't care about. No, because it's all ad-libbed and it's all funny, and these people, they play off each other without even having them there to be played off of.
Right. And it was so nice when we were playing it in front of Casey and Allie to hear Casey laughing his ass off at some of it. About and from people that he didn't even know, like Dakota and AJ, you know?
Yeah.
And
Olivia.
it's just like, well, if Casey's laughing about this, then that's a good sign because...
Other people can laugh at it.
Right, and I think, you know, our friends could be some of the more critical people of our stuff because they've seen our stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I think other people could like it, not to say we're going to put it out anywhere, anytime, but, you know, it's fun. if you hear people talking about zombies, to be able to be like, hey, I made a zombie movie.
I do that every now and then, but no one
Yeah.
seems to care.
There's this guy I work with. He's the writer that I was talking about. That he said if he was gonna go to school, he would go for creative writing. He's kind of a weirdo, but he said that, I was like, oh, he's like, oh, I love zombies. And I'm like, oh, I made a zombie movie. He's like, I want to see it. So, build a fan base, which, however you can, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But just the fact that we made it. Everybody's got to have a hobby. Fuck it, that's our hobby,
I wish we could do it more often.
So after Patriot Zombie,
We did
back
the
to
Halloween
friends.
thing.
Did the Halloween thing.
The Halloween murder mystery, which went over, well enough.
Yeah.
And then we were friends with Casey and Allie. It was like the next day.
And that was like, kind of the re-beginning of getting your brother back into our life. Because he, after he didn't show up for filming a couple times.
The very next time we needed him, disappeared off the face of the earth, as documented in The Unmaking of American Zombie.
So, but then, we had the Halloween thing, which was fun, but kind of sad because, like most Halloweens, it marked the real end of summer. It's like, well, you can't draw it out any longer.
The real
end.
The end of fall, pretty much. Then we just became friends with Casey and Allie, went to Thanksgiving with them.
Yeah. And
did we have Thanksgiving by ourselves that year? Like the day before? It was just you and me. We went and saw the Fantastic Mr. Fox on Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and then just ate dinner, cried ourselves to sleep, and then I had to go to work the next day and Black Friday, and then we just went to Casey and Allie's, and then it's just been that from then. And on Casey's birthday, he's like, I just want the four of us to go out to eat.
Yeah.
So we went out to eat, and that was it. And it fucking snowed.
It was fun.
It was fun, but it was scary driving home and getting home, and it's like the snow is up to my knees, maybe higher, or at least it felt like it. And then
feels like we just live. It's weird because during Patriot Zombie, we were having a good time and staying late and doing things we don't usually do, and then it's like once that's over, we're living the domestic life now, quiet, stay at home, don't go out, do anything, don't have fun, just be domestic.
That's why we need to be making movies now, is because now we just kind of sit at home wondering what to do.
There's only
like
one
this
thing
weekend.
for us to do.
It's true. I mean, honestly, there's really not much to do. It's not like, it's like, oh, hey, let's go out and party. It's like, I don't know. It's not my thing, at least. I don't know how you feel about it, honestly.
Well, I mean, we're not party people, but
we're adults,
But I don't know. During the filming of Patriot Zombie, it was different. It's like we weren't being crazy, we weren't partying, but we were a lot more social than we are now.
Right, we were hanging out. We had people to hang out with, and we were all filming. We had a goal with hanging out.
Right.
It's like, hey, let's hang out. We hung out. We filmed some scenes, hung out. Whoever wasn't filming was hanging out. And even while we were, the people in front of the camera were still kind of like, they were into it, and they weren't thinking of it as a job. They're like, oh yeah, okay, let's do this scene, and then laughing it up between takes.
Yeah, and it feels like if we hang out now, if we invite people over, it's it's kind of all polite, and they come in and sit down on the couch, and man, I don't know. It's depressing talking about it that way. I think we just need a change. We need to make a movie or...
Patrick was supposed to come over today, too. I haven't talked to him all weekend.
What happened?
I just haven't talked to him. I don't know. He was supposed to come over and, not podcast, but we were supposed to have our script meeting.
Did you text him?
No, I just talked to him on Friday, and then that was the last I talked to him.
Oh.
I think, he's in this different spot now, too.
Because he has a job now?
It's not the job, it's where he's living, and the fact that he's going to be living with, a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's got his priorities. You know, he's got to be the friend and the super of his house.
Yeah.
So you know, he's got to have his, you know, he just can't just take off and hang out with us because we are not, you know, the friends of his lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
We're just the friends of, you know, we're the long time friends that he's had.
It's kind of weird. They're so separate
Yeah.
from all of his other young party. I don't think he's friends with anybody else that is even in like a stable relationship.
Yeah. He's never been in a stable relationship. He's never been in a relationship.
It's like maybe we're the image of his old life. Something that I think people have a hard time letting go of.
Yeah.
Um,
So, anyways, that was our winter, and then 2010 happened.
how did 2010 start?
It's like any other year. What did we do on New Year's? Nothing. No,
We
New
went
Year's
over to
Eve.
Casey
Yeah, we
and I
went over to
got
Casey and Alice.
fucking drunk.
Drank some,
I got fucking drunk. I don't know.
and then we went and saw Avatar. That was the beginning of the year.
Oh God, that's why. That's why it was so horrible. We started out so bad.
Avatar set the
Set the stage.
set the precedence for what the rest of the year was gonna be like.
Whoa.
One big 3-hour horrible movie that is predictable, bad, you know.
And then, you know, with the start of 2010, we had some pretty bad snowstorms, which I called into work.
Yeah, I got stuck.
Yep. That was the beginning.
I want to say that we had more snowstorms before.
I don't think so because most of my sick time was used the beginning of this year, not the end of last year.
Mm-hmm. I know when Shutter Island came out, you stayed home.
Yeah.
That Monday we went and
But
saw it.
I think January was.
For those of people from Aero Electronics, managers, supervisors, listening in on this, we'll stay home and we went to Shutter Island.
Well, you know, fuck it. It's my sick time.
That was a
Do whatever
foggy
I want
day,
with it.
though. That was a really, really foggy day.
Oh God, I know. God, we had foggy days too.
We went and bought mirrors that same day. We watched that this Halloween.
Yeah, and then what did we do for Easter? Hid eggs around the house again?
No, we went and had brunch at Casey and Allie's.
Did we?
Yeah.
Was the family there?
No, it was just the four of us.
Just the four of us.
We took the dog and walked him.
Oh, that was that day. I was trying to remember what day that was. That was Easter, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
and
we
then,
hide eggs that day?
I thought we did.
No. We went out. We went to Winco that morning.
Huh.
And you bought champagne for your mimosas.
Yum yum. Yeah, and then what I remember this year we went Mother's Day with my mom to Stonehouse Cafe. That was fun, right?
Oh, you know. It was okay.
And for our vacation, we went to.
But before we even mentioned where we went for vacation, you know, the biggest hit of the year was when Bob died.
What month was that?
That was in April, so it's like right after Easter.
That was rough. I remember sitting at my desk and, you know, just getting a phone call on my cell phone, and it was Stephanie Culver, and, you know, that point, it's so weird because you always know it's that point when you hear from someone you never hear from. And you think, well, what is the only reason this person could be calling me? And there's really only one reason.
You know, it lets you know something bad's happened.
Yeah, and I just...
Somebody died. Somebody close to us died, and...
Yeah. And, so, you know, I just sat there at my desk crying and crying. I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't even stop crying long enough to get up and leave. Fucking... I did.
You came home, you got me, I left, I took off work, you know, and...
Yeah, it was pretty damn rough.
And, you know, and I told everybody who would know.
Yeah.
They were all sorry. So that was the first big, real hit of the year.
And, you know, that was rough because it was when I realized that, Bob and Marge had this big family, and we weren't blood, and they considered us part of the family, but I really, really feel like the rest of the family didn't.
Yeah.
When we went, after the funeral, when we went to Marge's place, and, we were sitting around, and...
Maybe they were kind of resentful towards us.
Yeah.
Like, who were we to be there?
Exactly.
Like, the only people that weren't related.
That's what I felt, too. It just... and thinking about, if Bob was there, everything would be fine, and that's the sad part is...
But none of them would have been there if Bob was there.
Right. So, he was just kind of really, really influential figure in our lives. And to lose someone like that unexpectedly, like we did, because we had just saw him that Sunday. And not just saw him, but, spent a morning like him, like we usually did.
Yeah, like we did every Sunday.
Just to lose him without even realizing that it was happening, that it was going to happen. It was just too much. And then, I guess, next point would be us going on vacation for our anniversary.
Yeah, 2-year anniversary. Drove down to LA, went to Universal Studios.
Another disappointment in our string of a bad year.
Oh, honestly, that's probably our highest point of the year.
Oh, God, yeah.
I know. The only thing, without trying to sound like, you kind of sound like an asshole when you say this, but, like, the only disappointment was that it wasn't Disneyland.
Right.
It's like, get off your high horse, okay?
We got, like, 2 days in Universal Studios, and...
One day at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and we would have wished it was the other way around, but because we didn't have as much money, but it's like, obviously we have enough money to fucking drive down to LA and go to these theme parks, but
just barely.
The deals that we got, we had to go to Universal Studios 2 days, Magic Mountain 1 day. We spent the night in Tracy, California.
That was fun.
We went to the big sale they had at A1 Comics.
Just a big clusterfuck of, let's do this because we can't go to Disneyland.
And it was nice to go to Universal Studios. It's just, it would have been nicer if, like, oh, hey, let's go to Universal Studios instead of Disneyland this year. Not like, let's go to Universal Studios because we can't go to Disneyland this year. And we get to Disney or Hollywood and Universal Studios, and it's like, it's fun, but it's not a 2-day thing. It's a 1-day thing.
And we were staying in the shitty hotel. And it's like, it would have been fine if that's what we were expecting, and if we could have just been like, well, okay, we know that this is what we can afford, but I thought it was going to be in a much better part of town.
With
swimming
a pool,
fucking nice amenities, but we really got fucked over. But then again, that started our love for the Food Network, so I guess some good came of it.
So Universal Studios, it was fun, but it wasn't like we needed 2 days to get everything in, because we went on it, the longest ride there was, like when we went to Disneyland, was the most disappointing of the rides. Why the Simpsons ride had such a long line for what it was, a fake ride, essentially, that they could... And what would have made it better was if they would have blown air on us, and there was no air blowing, even though it would have made it felt a little bit more real than it was, and and Jurassic Park was a lot of fun. I thought it was gonna be different when I went, though.
Yeah.
I was led to believe that it was gonna be more crazy.
But we went on that fucking thing so many times. We went on the Mummy so many fucking times.
And honestly, they were both just watered-down versions of Splash Mountain and Indiana Jones.
Yep, they were, but, if we couldn't be at Splash Mountain and Indiana Jones, then at least we had
We had
Mummy
those, and they were fun. They were
Park.
fun. They were lots of good times. And we went and we got the all-you-can-eat wristband.
Such a bad idea. It was cheap.
It was a good idea.
But, oh my God, that's all we did. I fucking remember just being there being like, man... when is the next time we're gonna eat? And that was basically what it was centered around.
So that we can get all of our food in.
Oh my God, it was horrible. I got so sick.
I liked it.
Eating so much.
Yeah, I ate too much.
And it's funny because, usually when we go on vacation, not only are we trying to conserve money, but we're so busy doing other things that we don't even stop to think that we have to eat.
Yeah.
But then this time it was the other way around. It's like
And it got
there's
even
nothing
worse
to do except for eat.
And it got even worse on our second vacation about eating.
Oh gosh.
Basing our vacations around when we're gonna eat and what we're gonna eat is worst idea ever.
Yeah.
So that was our our anniversary. Did nothing over summer.
Nothing at all.
Nothing happened. Went to work. Came home.
Well, there was your birthday, end of summer.
My birthday, probably the most successful birthday I've had since I turned 21.
It's only a couple years.
4 years.
Yeah, that was great. That was actually a really good idea that you had, to give gifts to people. I mean, it's always awkward when you invite people over for your birthday and they don't bring anything and they're kind of just there eating your food.
Well, Casey and
taking
Allie
your
gave me something.
That's different. They're good friends.
They know how to give people gifts.
Right. Speaking of, when is Casey's birthday?
I think it's right around the corner.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not in December?
Well, December is right around the corner.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
It's coming up.
So, yeah, your birthday was fun. What did we do?
We just had people over. We played Pictionary. We made,
That's right.
everyone made sandwiches. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, if I was able to do that every weekend, I would.
Yeah. And we literally, like, every single person that we were talking to at the time, we had over. We had Greg, Dakota, Casey, Allie, your brother, your sister, and Haley. We had
Olivia was there,
Olivia
I believe.
and Patrick.
That's it.
That's it, but that's
a lot of people.
all of our friends, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I wish we could do that more often.
Yeah. And then that was the last of the fun. Casey and Allie hung out after everyone else left, which is par for the course. They're always willing to hang out and do stuff a little bit longer than everyone else.
Well, didn't Patrick hang out a little longer?
No,
too?
Patrick took off. No, Patrick took off. You're thinking of when we went and seen that fucking Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Casey and Ellie hung out. It was a good time. And what happened after your birthday?
After my birthday, I think we did something the weekend after that. I don't remember, but then it was just like we were planning on our vacation and just trying to save money and do our second vacation at the end of September.
Which at the time we thought was going to be Santa Cruz.
We were going to go to Santa Cruz for the week, stay at the house on the ocean. Didn't happen. Plans change. Things come up to where we can't do it, so we drove down to Sacramento, went to the Horror Con, which was probably the best thing of the vacation.
Yeah.
Where we got to meet Derek Mears.
That was fun. That was cool.
And
then we drove to Concord from there?
We drove to Cupertino. No, yeah.
Drove to Concord. We stayed in Concord.
Yeah. Which was actually cool, too. I liked that place also.
It was nice. It was comfortable.
And then from there we drove to Cupertino, which ended up being disappointing because it felt like from that point that we kind of just drove places to go shopping, which we could have stayed home and done online.
Yeah. It was like we were trying to find things to do, which I didn't think it was. I thought it was going to be just like this fun road trip and we were going to get into all these adventures and we would have all this money to decide what to do, but it was really like, well, there's a couple things we can do, and then other than that, we're just going to stay in our hotel room and do nothing. We ate a lot of pizza, I guess.
A lot of pizza.
It was a tour of pizza.
Yeah.
And we went to Winchester Mystery House.
Disappointing.
Disappointing. And we went to we went to Santa Cruz and that whole area, which was surprisingly disappointing. Too hot.
I don't know. I thought it was too windy.
I don't know. The beach smelled, and I didn't remember it smelling.
It didn't feel very sunny. It felt drab.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like there was that many people there.
Which, when we went to Santa Cruz, the time that we did, it was good that there weren't many people because that meant that we could go do things
This
without
is
worrying
a
about
depressing
it.
podcast. I'm gonna start crying.
I'll start crying.
Because I was thinking about the other time I went to Santa Cruz and it was like perfect.
It was.
It was literally the perfect vacation.
It's that whole idea of trying to... That was Charlie.
Okay, it's a scary noise.
It was Charlie. It's that whole idea of trying to recreate a situation.
The law of diminishing returns, Melissa.
Yep. So, guess next time we just won't try to recreate.
No, we'll just do something different.
Yeah. Maybe we should branch out. Fuck California. Let's try somewhere new. How about Washington?
Ugh.
Salt Lake City.
We're not here to talk about that.
They have that big animal conservatory.
Oh, like
somewhere
I give
in
a shit
Utah.
about animals.
I do.
I know you do.
I want to go to the biggest zoo in the world.
The San Diego Zoo?
I don't know, or something.
We went to the Sacramento Zoo.
Go to Florida and go to Disney World. Oh, that was great. So
I'll cut that out.
we did that, and then October flew by.
October with no Halloween.
Well, we had Halloween.
Halloween came and we did our second podcast. This is our fourth.
Gave out candy.
We tried to make a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns. Wasn't into it.
Gosh. Just disappointment. I'm
Disappointment
surprised we
after
haven't
disappointment.
jointly killed
I
ourselves
know.
so far.
I guess it's just we're too
Stubborn?
No, we're too stuck on routine that we get up and go to work every day. Though we can't think about killing ourselves so that we don't miss work the next day.
And they call it failure to thrive when you just don't even want to get up and go to work.
Oh, that's me.
Depression kicking in.
I want to make movies, but then I just think about it. It's like
It's
I don't
just
have that much time in my life on the weekend to make a movie.
I don't know.
Because I got to go to work. Do I really want to spend my weekend making a movie?
It's true because human beings are very simplistic. We think in the moment. We think selfishly, generally. We just think, well, I don't have the time right now to make myself happy, so I'll just go do what I usually do. When you think about it, though, it's worth the sacrifice to change your life. To make it into something that you want it to be, because when are you going to do it?
I don't know. I wish I lived with my parents and they weren't lazy bums. And we could just make a movie on their dime instead of us having to spend all of our money on, on staying alive ourselves.
That'd be great.
The majority of every cent that we make goes towards paying bills and we have a little bit left over. It'd be nice if we could kind of relax. I'm not saying, that we don't have to work. I don't mind working. I understand that has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to be able to come home and relax instead of have to be, I need to go to work the next day so that I can get paid, so that I can pay the bills, so that I can keep the roof over my head, so that I'm not starving to death.
You wish it could be more of an option.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't like paying bills. It's, it's just, it would be nice if maybe I could, we could share the bills with somebody and kind of help somebody else out who could definitely take care of the bills themselves, but we'd be able to help. Yeah. And that way everyone can kind of relax, have more money to go do stuff, to be a little bit freer on their free time instead of just being like, we have to stay home tonight. We can't go out to eat. We can't go buy stuff. We can't go do stuff because, we only have this much money to do something and we have to do this.
But that's why I liked the idea of paying off our debt, is because right now we are at that point where we can go out to eat. We do have extra money, but then the problem is that we're stuck in the middle of between having a lot of extra money and all of our money going to bills because we do have all those credit cards. And you think of some people are living so beyond their means that they can't go out on the weekends. They can't go out to dinner. Everything is going to bills. So if we live like that, if we sacrifice 8 months of our lives to live like that, I think in the end we'll be so much more free. It's the most amazing idea in the world to me to be free of bills.
Debt.
Be free of debt, aside from basic, like, you need power, you need, I even want to be free of rent or mortgage. I want to own my home. I want to own my cars. I want to own everything I have. Just be free of it all, because that's the ultimate freedom. Whereas right now, and for a really long time, we're going to be tied down to owing people something. Owing people we don't even know. Always carrying that with us.
Get that out of the way, huh? Let it be
I
gone.
think so.
Nelly.
And right now, I think this is the best time to just fucking pay our debt, our credit cards, and start from scratch,
done.
before we have to claim bankruptcy for having debt follow us around for so
as
long.
much debt as we have, we can't even claim bankruptcy because we can take care of it.
Exactly. That's
and
what I'm
that's
saying.
what's ridiculous.
We can take care of it, and we will. And then it'll be great. Imagine that feeling, It's just... I guess there's always a problem, though, in life, It's either you hate your job, or you've got too much debt, or you're overweight, or, unfortunately, all three. You just gotta find a way to tackle it day by day. Find a new goal.
So that's now, but in October, Halloween, no Halloween, podcast. Oh, God. I just feel horrible now.
And then on Friday, we got horrible news that I think we all knew was coming.
It's Thursday.
Was that Thursday?
Thursday.
That Marge died.
Marge died.
It was just, right before Thanksgiving.
Right before big family time. Thanksgiving, Christmas, someone died.
Seems wrong.
They say they come in threes. Who's the other two?
Well, it's not always necessarily that deaths come in threes. I think it's just bad things come in threes. I mean, depending on the severity of the bad thing, obviously the most severe was Marge, but we also had that $400 on our credit card, and what's the third?
Some unknown third thing to be named that happened to us.
Probably something with a car. That's usually what happens.
Knock on wood.
Yep.
That's a knock, I guess. Let's hope that nothing happens to the car.
So, and that leaves us here.
We could say something already happened to the car and we got it fixed and they said there was something else wrong with it.
My phone.
Oh yeah, big fucking bad thing there.
It is a bad thing. That's it. That's the third. We're not gonna.
You just don't want something else to happen.
Of course I don't. I hate fucking shitstorms, And that's what always happens. Things are going fine, Maybe things aren't going good. Maybe you're not loving life. Maybe things aren't perfect, but they're fucking going fine. And then everything comes at once. Everything. That's how it's always been for me.
So you're going to try and get a new job, though?
Yeah.
Did you look that up today?
You would know.
Did you look it up when you got home?
No.
You didn't find that place to go apply at?
I found it. I found the address, but they don't have a website.
Where's the address?
Industrial Circle.
What I thought it was a temp place that you had to go apply
It is,
at.
but I don't know where.
You got the number, though?
Yeah.
Can't really call that from work.
No, but I could try calling them before going to work.
At lunch, maybe.
It's like time to fucking do something. Time to make a change. This is obvious. I guess it's kind of like...
Shit her out the pot.
Maybe these are signs, I mean, and it sucks fucking moving from one warehouse to another warehouse, because that's not where I want my future to lie, but... It does matter that I'm moving from $12 an hour to possibly $15 an hour to closer by, to probably a better schedule, to being treated better. That's more important to me than, stuck in a warehouse until I finish school.
Let's talk about something happy.
Okay, like what?
Who are these guys?
Ugh, kitty cats.
Who are they?
You know what? They are happy because they're a constant in our life. When everything is so fucking depressing and it sucks and we've got no hope, we know that every day we have to come home, we've got to feed these guys, give them water,
What
keep
about
a
when
shelter.
you don't scoop their litter?
I scoop their litter.
What about when that doesn't happen?
But I do.
What do they do?
I don't know.
Do they poop in your cereal?
And more than that, they get lonely. So we need to survive. We need to keep going, if only for them. And because of my stupid little idea that everything happens for a reason and things work it themselves out most of the time, you just got to give them a little push. But things work themselves out. There's some dogs outside.
And on that note, is this the end of the podcast?
I think we're going to have to end it here with a depressing fucking ending.
Stay classy, Reno.
Stay classy.